Hello, today's communication lesson is all about communicating in the community. And specifically, today we're going to learn about communicating with community helpers. This is all part of our unit on interpersonal communication skills, which describe how we communicate and relate to those around us, other people that we work with, go to school with, live with, etc. So, firstly, who are community helpers? This is a topic that many of you are familiar with, but we'll brush up on it just in case. So, community helpers, as shown in the picture below, are individuals who perform jobs in our community that contribute to its overall functioning. They keep our community going. They help maintain um, daily life in our communities. For example, a police officer, as shown here, protects and serves us. They help enforce laws and make sure that people are not breaking the laws. Teachers, right here, teachers help us to learn and help us to develop our critical thinking skills so that we may learn to think critically for ourselves and take um, those skills out into the real world to utilize when we are functional, independent adults. Farmers, as shown here, farmers raise crops that help feed our community. They perform a super important job by growing crops and animals that we eventually eat for consumption, right? Or they sell for consumption. And so there are many more community helpers. In this diagram, you'll see firefighters, mechanics, veterinarian, there is sanitation workers, um, doctors, of course, the mail carrier, construction workers, bus drivers, librarians, nurses, and military personnel. All right. And even then, there's still a ton more people who work in our community. Okay. So this is just a brief overview. And we're going to talk about the main community helpers that we'll probably interact with in our day-to-day lives. All right. We communicate with community helpers when we are out and about in the community. When we go to the library, who do you talk to? When you check out your books, you talk to a librarian. When you're at the grocery store, who do you talk to? You talk to the cashier or the worker. Aside from greetings to say hello, how are you? We also communicate with them primarily when we need their help, okay? And so we're going to talk about how to communicate appropriately with community helpers to indicate when we want or need something, because there's a cool way to do that, and then there's a not cool way to do that. And it's pretty similar to how we gain attention in the classroom. All right. You definitely want to make sure that you make your wants and needs known, but do so in a way that is respectful and patient. Okay. So, how do we communicate with community helpers? Well, we do it all the time, as we talked about just now. However, two things are really important. All right. The context in which we meet a given community helper. So, what the environment, the situation is like, and then what our specific wants or needs are. These two things, context and what your wants or needs are in that moment, will play a big role in how we communicate with these individuals. So you need to be aware of your surroundings and you need to know exactly what you need help with. Otherwise, if you just ask the community helper for help, but don't tell them exactly what you need help with, they're they're probably going to be confused and they won't know how to best assist you in meeting your needs. Okay. So here's a scenario. You are lost at the mall and you see a police officer. So here's the context. If you become separated from your friends or family at a public place, such as the mall, you need to look for a security office or a police officer. Most malls, most public places will have a security office or they will have a patrolling police officer. Make sure the police officer has an official badge and uniform. This is really important just to make sure that you are talking to someone who is, in fact, a law enforcement member and not someone pretending to be. Okay, so you can ask them, can I see your badge? And if they're a true police officer, they should have no problem showing you that to verify their identity. And then your wants and needs. All right, well, you're lost. So what do you want or need? You want or need to find your family. Okay, and so what you can say, given the context and your wants and needs, you can say, excuse me, officer, I cannot find my family and am lost. Can you help me find them? I didn't include that, can you help me find them? I should have, but that's your need, okay? So you describe the context that you are lost at the mall and you're telling them your need. Can you help me find my family, please? Or will you help me find my family, please? Now, once you tell the officer this information, they may ask for more information. It's called identifying information, such as your full name, your family's names. So, who are you supposed to be with? Your mom, your dad, your friends, your brother or sister. They are going to ask for your phone number or their phone numbers so that they can call them. And they might also ask for your address in the event that maybe your family left or they can't get a hold of them. They'll go to your house to see if someone is there and can, you know, can like account for you. And again, as long as this is an official police officer, security guard, it is totally okay to share this information. They need to know this so that they can help you find your family or friends that you're supposed to be with. All right, here's another scenario. You want to mail a package and you see the mail carrier. All right, so what's the context? Well, sometimes you need to mail items that honestly just don't fit into your mailbox's outgoing mail slot. So if you happen to catch the mail carrier as they are delivering mail, they can actually help you by taking your package back to the post office. And so, um, again, the context is that you're meeting them near probably the mailbox, or you see them and you're walking over towards them. And so you're going to communicate your want or your need. And we're going to do it appropriately and respectfully by saying, excuse me, I need to mail this package, but it is slightly oversized since it can't fit in the mail slot. Can you please help me? That is a really cool way to tell the person exactly what you want or need. The package is oversized. Can you help me mail it? And of course, the mail carrier, in all likelihood, will be able to do so. They might also check to make sure your package has the correct information and a postage stamp so that it can be properly mailed. So if you don't have a postage stamp, they might tell you, of course, how about you go back, get the appropriate postage stamps that you need, and then bring it over here and I can mail it for you. All right. And our last example is you were at the doctor's and you want to ask about your lab work. So often when we go to the doctor, they will order blood draws to make sure that we are in good health. They're checking to see what the internal picture of our body is like. You have the right to know the results of your lab work, and a doctor or nurse is allowed to look up this information on your chart. So you're at the doctor's, that's the context. You had some blood drawn, and your want or need is that you want to know what happened to it. What are your test results like? So what you can say is, "Excuse me." Notice that's a recurring theme in all of our questions to communicate with these community helpers. "Excuse me, I had blood drawn before today's appointment. What were my results?" And when you ask this, the doctor or nurse will assist you in accessing your medical record. Um, they might tell you results like your white blood cell count was 8.6. And that's great to know. But unless you are a doctor or a nurse, it's hard to know what exactly that means. Is that in a normal range? Is that high? Is that low? And so you can ask them to interpret or tell you the meaning of your results. So once they give you your results, you can say, okay, what does that mean? And then the doctor and nurse will explain, oh, your white blood cell count is within normal range. You are showing no signs of an active infection. That's a good thing. Okay. So these are just 3 scenarios of community helpers that you'll often encounter out and about in the community as well as scenarios in which you might interact with them. Please note again, it's always super important to be respectful and caring in your interactions, even if you have a very pressing want or need, such as when you're lost. We don't want to be frantic or um, just overly emotional. You want to communicate it that way they know exactly what the situation is and what you need from them. Okay? All right. I will see you later.